Hello, my name is Mike from MikesCarpentryPlus, and thought today we'd talk a little bit about chainsaw starting. And I've got my favorite chainsaw right here. And the first thing you do is you get it up out of your case. And something about storage is that when you get done with your saw, you want to put it in your case. Also loosen your chain first, put it in the case, and then put it up. I keep mine in my basement. It's just best to keep them indoors to stay warm, especially in the winter time, so that when they're easier to start and also easier on the engine because they are warmer to begin with. And anyway, let's get to it. First thing you do is you take your chainsaw out of your case. Take your chain guard off. You notice my chain's loose. You want to make sure that your kickback guard is off, in the off position, which is towards your handle, so that you can rotate your chain. Then you take a little bit of penetrating oil. Spray a little on each side of your front sprocket bearing and also on the top of your chain. Grab your chain on the sides and rotate it through. That way it lubricates your bar. On this particular saw, we've got two big nuts that tighten your bar up, and you got an adjusting screw in the center. You want to tighten that up a little bit. Pull on your chain a little bit there so you get the right tension. Just snaps back a little. You don't want to overdo it. And you tighten your big nuts up, and you don't want to over tighten them either. Just snug them up good. Turn your saw. Be nice if I turned my saw in the correct direction, but anyway, here we go. You got your fuel cap on the right. Take it out. Fill your fuel up, and that fuel has oil in it. Talk about that in a second. You want to be careful with these caps on these particular saws. I wish they would have stuck with the screw-on caps, but this is what they did, so engineers worked a little overtime and came up with that, which is not, I don't like them. Anyway, I broke one before. But with your fuel and your oil container, you want to make sure you put it in a container that's marked, that it's got 2-cycle oil in it. I like to run 40 to 1, 40 parts fuel to 1 part 2-cycle oil. That seems to work fine, lubricates properly, and it gets plenty of horsepower. It's just worked good for me for a long time. Next thing you do is you take your left cap out. That's your oil fill that lubricates your bar and your chain. Fill it up. Put your cap back on. Be careful when you put those caps on, make sure they're seated all the way. I've done it before where I thought they were seated, and when I turned my saw up like that, I had fuel everywhere. Anyway, something about your oil is don't be tempted to use used engine oil. You know, you change your oil and you keep it to put in your chainsaw. Don't do that. That oil's got, number one, it's real dirty. Number two, it's got metal in it. Number three, it's got detergent in it. Not the best thing to use for your bar and chain. But anyway, it's better than nothing. But if I were you, don't be a tight ass and go buy yourself some of this cheap bar and chain oil. It's non-detergent, it's clean, it's new, it's awesome, doesn't cost that much. So, and your bar and your chain's gonna love you for it, and it'll actually save you money in the long run. After you get after you get your chain set properly and your gas and your oil filled up. This particular saw has throttle. It's got a catch up there. You go full throttle trigger on it, and when you do that, there's a on-off switch over here, lever, and it turns your saw on, and it also regulates your choke. It's got full choke, half choke, and regular run. You have to pull the trigger, your throttle all the way full to go all the way down to full choke. I'm going to put it on full choke. Now I have run this thing about an hour ago for a minute, so it is warmed up just a little bit, so it's going to be a little easier to start today anyway. But it starts up pretty easy anyway. Even if I haven't run it for 6 months, it fires up pretty easily. Usually when I put it on full choke, I'll pull it maybe 5 or 6 times, and it'll pop, and then you put your choke on half choke. And then that way, when you pull it next, it'll start within 2 pulls, it'll start right up. And just run it above idle a little bit, let it warm up a little bit before you start using it. But anyway, I'm going to put, for you safety people out there, I'm going to put my ear protection on and my eye protection, even though I only got one good ear. Something that I do, and a lot of people do this, the manufacturer says not to do this, but I've got a bad back, so I stand up while I start my saws. They've got a long handle here, and with a footrest, you can put it on the ground, put your foot on it to keep it steady, and do it that way if you want to, and that's fine. I've been doing it this way for years, and anyway, I'm going to continue to do it this way. So you just get a good grip on your saw, you hear it pop. So now I'm going to move that lever up to half choke and try it again. I love that saw. Anyway, when you get it fired up and you warm it up and start going to work with it, you want to shut it off, check your chain tension, and after about 5 or 10 minutes of using it, that chain's going to warm up and it's going to expand. So you want to keep the right amount of tension on it. If you're running it idle and your chain keeps going around, it doesn't stop, then you're too loose. You need to shut it off and adjust it, tighten it up a little bit, and you don't want to go too tight. I like mine on the tighter side than what I used to, but I feel like it cuts better that way, and that's also kind of the reason why it led me to put some penetrating oil on the front sprocket and on the chain to begin with, kind of lubricate everything. And so anyway, before you put your saw up, loosen your 2 big nuts here, loosen your chain a little bit, put your guard on, put it in your case, and put it in your shop, inside the house, in the basement, wherever. Just keep it inside, take good care of it, protect it, and it'll give you years and years of service. And once a year you might want to clean the spark plug, re-gap it, maybe put a new one in, clean the air filter, stuff like that. They don't take a whole lot of maintenance. Just make sure your oil to gas ratio is about 40-to-1, and keep good non-detergent bar oil in to lubricate your bar and your chain, and it'll last you a long time. Anyway, that's about it here, and if you have any cats or dogs, please get them spayed, neutered, or neutered. And If you want to get one, cat or dog, go to your local animal shelter and rescue one. And I guess that's it. I'm Mike with Mike's Carpentry Plus, and please subscribe so that you can get my next videos easily. They'll pop right up. I'm going to do them on remodeling and backhoe stuff, cutting trees down, cutting up, splitting wood, just all kinds of things, some cooking. But anyway, you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.